This video is going to show you a endgame Voidwalker build revolving around scatter grenades and whether it's worth it or not in endgame solo content. And I can tell you that this build does respectable damage even at minus 30 delta on an ultimate mode. Build is any super that you want, heal and rift, scatter grenade, aspects of chaos accelerant, feed the void, echo of dilation for stats, echo of domineering for stats, echo of expulsion for void explosions, and echo of obscurity. If you want, you can put echo of instability on if you want. It's up to you. If you want to put it on, you can. I didn't because I value more of my stats for this one. I did not run Chablo Gods because I'm running Feed the Void. Instead, Chaos Accelerant needs to go on. We're using Controverse Hold. We've got Intrinsic Weakening. You're going to keep getting your nades back. Now then, on Void Nades, Scatter Grenade does the highest damage out of all the nades. Even higher than Handhold Supernova on Controverse Hold. Axion Bolts has been buffed, but it's not as much as Scatter Grenade. Scatter Grenade still does more damage than Axion Bolts, but Axion Bolts does respectable damage. Controverse, Vortex Hold, does damage as well, decent, and you are going to get your nade back quite a lot, but Vortex Grenade does not stack. You get 2 nades, and Scatter Grenades do stack, so I think this is better. The only thing is, though, Scatter Grenades can kill you, and you need to not play too close to the ads when using this build. So, obviously, it's based around Controverse Hold. There'll be a dim link anyways. Stats, let's get onto that. You want a very high weapon stat. Now, I'm running a grenade font, so that's going to pop me very close to 200 grenade stat. So, I'm going to be very close to 200, right? But on this build, you don't want to have too much of your weapon stat too low, because you are using your weapons. I know you're using nades a lot, but your weapons are complementing the nade damage. Don't creep below 100 weapon stat, in my opinion. Class stat doesn't matter all that much in this one. Tier 7 was enough. I don't need much more than that, right? I'm not really bothered. High super is always nice as well, because you've thrown a lot of novas and what have you. But yeah, you want a high nade stat on this. Close to 200. It doesn't need to be 200, because we've got grenade fonts to supplement the damage. But yeah, have a high nade stat to get the most out of this build. Weapon wise, I'm using Mint Retrograde and I'm pairing it with Graviton Lance. I feel as though it's a good pairing. You could do Quiet of 1. Yes, you can do that. I'm running Graviton Lance in this one. I'm just using an LMG because we can dip into more nade energy with solar weapons and other verbiage that I'll go on the artifact right now and just explain it. Shield Crush, when amplified or radiant, will give you more grenade. There you go. I'm using Radiant Shrapnel because of the LMG. Favor and Chill because of the LMG. Elemental Daze. Elemental Coalescence is good with Graviton Lance. You keep getting the Void Breaches. Energy Acceleration, Pack Tactics, and Fairy Proliferation are for Mint Retrograde to stun on stops. Right. I've got Barrier Pulse on over... It doesn't matter about Overload, does it? Yeah, but that's basically just Barrier Pulse for these two. So that's the build. More about it on the run, really. The actual content that I've went with for this. Let me just quickly find it. So I just went with a Proving Grounds minus 30 delta. Look, you can see my power 500. The combatant power is 530. I've done that by applying these mods. I ran no boons. The footage you're seeing, or will see, will show you what the actual ability recharge is, and the damage is pure. I didn't run like any boons that would artificially increase this build. Incredible amounts of damage on with the run. Okay, so in this run, let's evaluate this Scatter Grenade endgame build with Controverse Hold and see the ability uptime and the damage. Now just watch this. This is minus 30 delta. Ultimate mode. We're just throwing nades and getting them back. I've thrown 2. I've got 2 nades back. Devour Chain Kill left hand side. Nade in the ads in middle. I've got an unstop to deal with. I'll start dealing with him. We've thrown already 5, 6, 7 nades and we've just started. I get a stun with Mint. Got my nade back. I've got a nade and a half. See, adding an extra grenade charge to this build, which is what Bungie did, has made a massive difference to Controverse Hold gameplay. Look at that chunker. Look at the scatter grenade chunk on the barrier. That's minus 30. That's a dream damage that for this. You're in a dream scenario right now for Voidwalker gameplay. This isn't off meta. This is probably within or just within the meta, I would say now. Yeah, incredible damage against that unstop. Look at that. We've got 2 nades. Then I go in. So you can play very aggressive with the build. You can't go too close to the ads. Scatter grenades do self-harm damage to you. So don't go too close to enemies when you're using scatter grenades. You need to play a little bit of a distance. Not too much of a distance. When I say a distance, I mean 10 meters. I don't mean 80 meters, I mean 10. Yeah? But you can't really sword and scatter grenade. You've got to be careful on that. If you're going to sword and scatter grenade, sword and nade, then use the vortex grenades or axion bolts, right? Okay, unstop here, we get him weak with mint. Whip out the machine gun to finish him off. VIP in middle, watch the damage. Nova Bomb plus scatter. He gets sent immediate. That's good damage, that's respectable. Because of the intrinsic weakening from Controversial Hold, you see. Okay, we take down the Cabal shield thing. I'm not going to get a stun. I get a stun with the LMG with the Scorch from the artifact. We'll just get rid of this champ. I'll go Invis. I always use Invis Fragment on Voidwalker because it adds a layer of survivability. I know most of you won't do that, but you should do it. It's something you should definitely add to Voidwalker. It's very nice just going Invis after a champion kill. It's very invaluable. Whilst you've got a lot of damage on this kit, you've got a lot of survivability on this kit, it's nice to have a little Invis on this. It's 4 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever it is. It's still handy. It's very nice. Add it to your kit. But obviously get those stats in line. I wouldn't recommend using this build with a low weapon stat. I've tried it today. I was rocking a tier 7 weapon stat and I wasn't feeling it. Like, I was feeling the ability uptime, yeah. I was having, obviously, a great grenade damage. But the build was lacking without the weapon stat. It needs to be backed up with a bit of weapon stat. So, definitely rock at least 100 minimum weapon stat. Make it a priority, but obviously your grenade. So, how this build should go, grenade is number 1, priority stat. Get it 160 at least. The second priority is weapon stat. Yeah? And then after that, you could prioritize a bit of class, but you don't need that much class stat on this. Yeah, it's not like you're popping a lot of rifts. It's not really about that. It's more mobile. Controversial Hold, it's more like the old school way of playing Controversial Hold. You're very mobile in what you're doing. You're not very stationary. You're nading, you're jumping up in the air, you're getting devoured chain kills. That's what the identity of this is. There is a different way of building this. There's probably now 3-4 different ways to build Voidwalker. There's many different ways to build him now. This is just one way of building him. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the best ways to build him because I want damage on my nade. And I want lots of nades. I want a lot of nade uptime. And Controversial Hold provides that. And it provides weakening effect as well. Okay, so in the tank room, it's always priority to take care of the vehicles, which I'm going to do that now. Vehicles, so you rock the LMG. I'm saving a little bit of special. Yeah, because there's a lot of barriers coming up. There's a lot of stuff coming up. So I'm sort of prioritizing and pacing myself in this room for ammo. Yeah. So middle VIP can be any VIP, but we are just evaluating the build, aren't we? Really. Nova Bomb this guy here because I know he's going to give me problems. I get weak. There we go. Devour chain kill. Obviously, we're planning on that, right? You know, so if we get weak. We know that we would get weak and we know that we would proc a Devour Chain kill there. And every time that happens, we will prioritize and manage Devour Chain kill. And that's how you should be playing builds like this, right? Like right now, I haven't got a Devour Chain, but I'm fine. I've got a bit of cover. I'm thinking about getting rid of these barriers now. Dogs are coming out, but I'm going to start dealing with this barrier now because they haven't come out just yet. Look at the scatter. Half HP, 1 nade. Minus 30 Delta Champ. That's as good. Voidwalkers should be loving this. This is like a dream for you. Right? There's no way you're saying that's not enough damage. That is enough damage. If it was one-shotting champs at this level, it would probably be overtuned. So the build, scatter grenades, at least on this, is tuned perfectly to the point where it's viable in endgame, but not too strong where it breaks the game. It's perfectly tuned. Whoever tuned it, whichever dev did it, they're doing a good job. Now, the other nades I may be lacking. I think Vortex Grenade is slightly lacking in damage, whereas Scatter Grenade isn't. That's why I'm running Scatter instead. Remember, Vortex Grenade does not double stack. You may well get 2 nades, but who cares that you get 2 nades? It doesn't stack. With Scatter Grenades, it stacks. If you remember the last Scatter Grenade meta we had, it was in Leviathan on dogs. That was the true Scatter Grenade meta in 2017. We haven't had a proper scatter. We had a small meta of Axiom Bolts, if you remember. COVID, or just before COVID. There was a slight meta. You probably won't remember it. It was only for a few weeks. But it's very rare that Scatter Grenades are this powerful in the game. So, they're probably, in my opinion, the best Void Nade to use. Overall, I think, in my opinion. Look at this tank. He's already weak. That's minus 30. Scatter Grenades melt tanks. I already know that they do from past history. Know your histories. Yeah? I know that Scatter Grenade has a unique effect on targets with multiple hitboxes. Look at this. Scatter Grenade goes in. I get a good angle on this barrier. And he's weakened. That's another thing. See, it's kind of good because it's weakening everything for your weapons. So you're doing a lot more weapon damage than what you should be doing. Because everything gets weakened because of Controverse. This is your all-round Void build, in my opinion. I know there's Spirit of Verities. I know there's Verity's Brow. And that does a lot of damage. And I know that. But I prefer this over that. Because it's just overall got more versatility to it. You can fight from range and stuff. It's more mobile. It's more old school. But the only difference is that it's Scatter Grenade rather than Vortex Grenade. Because Vortex Grenades, as I say, aren't doing as much damage as Scatters. So yeah, we're doing well here. The tank is pretty weak. Got a Devour Chain Kill. I'm pretty comfortable. You can see this run's pretty comfortable for me, right? It really is on this. So the build passes its test. Remember, it's about the build. It's not about me. Yeah, it's about the build. We are testing the build in minus 30 content. And it's passing all markers for me on damage. Especially damage, 10 out of 10. For survivability, is what you expect it to be. Very good, but it has no damage resist, right? Void's got no DR. So, if there's anything to go against this build, is that it's got no damage resist. But, although it has, no, sorry, it has got damage resist. I've got it wrong. You resist damage when you hold your nade, so I'm wrong on that, aren't I? Look at the scatter in middle. So yeah, you do get DR. I don't know what the DR is on Controverse. At hand, I don't have the number. Yeah, but you do get that. You do resist damage when you're doing that. So yeah, you're getting DR as well. So, damn, this build's cooking. If you want to have power fantasy of a grenade build, here it is. Now, there's other grenade builds on the Warlock right now. Because of the grenade rework. I can't make a video about all of it right now, right? I need to digest the info. I have already tested Unoia with Helion, right? There's more tests to be done, so be patient. You're getting a grenade build here. I wanted to do this one today because, well, I was really shocked on how much the scatter grenades are doing, and obviously Controverse now has 2 nades, etc. So this build is very strong, and if you see someone using this, I wouldn't criticize them for it. I would say, nah, they're on a pretty damn strong build, actually. Very strong. Because, I mean, look at how many nades we've thrown in this. Nade goes on in this spawn location. I need to stun this unstop. There we go. Get a stun. Check stun damage for scatter. Look at the chunker. You see the chunk? That's a lot of chunk on minus 30. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage, that. Like, if you take all the builds in the game, yeah, of, like, what everything does, damage-wise, on the grand scale of things, that's a lot, compared to other things in the game. Is it the most damage in the game? No, it's not. But it's very consistent. So if you want to main Voidwalker for a week or two, it's in the game for you to do it. This isn't off-meta by any means. I think people try to put me in the off-meta box too often. This isn't off-meta. I'm showing you that it isn't. It's a solo. Nobody solos in 2025. But it's a good example of you showing at minus 30 delta, look at the damage it's doing. The gameplay speaks for itself. Now, imagine 3 Warlocks. All scatter grenade damage stacks. It stacks. Vortex grenades doesn't. So imagine in a raid 6 scatter grenade Warlocks. What does that even do? Raid teams would need to test that. Because scatter grenades stack. So yeah, it's incredible. That's why I'm making the video. That's why I've gone to the efforts of making this 23-minute video to tell you, hey Warlocks, scatter grenades are doing insane amounts of damage in PvE. You need to give it a try now. Like now, right now, today. Stop what you're doing. Try this. But there is a lot going on with the Warlock, to be fair. You've got so much. Because of the grenade rework, it's changed so much. It's fundamentally changed how Warlock basically works. And you'll have to rework a lot of stats now. On what you used to do with builds, it all changed. Like with that has drastically changed now how you build the stats for it. There'll be a video about it. Whether I make it today, I don't know. We work hour by hour, moment to moment. We'll see. When the VIP and champ is killed, we're going to Nova here because I know the ads spawn in. I know the trigger. Look at this. We get a nice Nova in. Scatter there gets half HP for that champion. He's weakened. I was going to finish him, but he just fell over. Tanky gladiators. We know gladiators are tank. They're not with this. Graviton Lance is a nice pairing with this, but so would Choir of One. I don't know about running double special on Voidwalker though, lads. I was thinking, using Choir and Mint, but I was like, I don't know about that. For Voidwalker, no, I don't think so. I think it's better off with some primary. Preferably an exotic primary, because exotic primaries have more ammo generation. You get more special, you get more heavy. So if you are lacking a weapon stat on your Warlock, which you might well be because you've invested that much stat points in your grenade, chances are your weapon stat might be lagging. And if it is, well then an exotic primary can make up for that. See, you get more progress to ammo bars. Now look at this. We're playing aggressive. We get that stun on this unstop. I'm focused on the unstop first. Yeah, then we go for the barrier. Look at that. Look at the decimation. I didn't even shoot him there. We're letting the nade do the work now, so I can show you it on the footage. I have tested Axion bolts, and they do also do incredible amounts of damage. I tested minus 60 delta, and Axion bolts were one-shot and red bars. So Axion bolts are very viable as well, but I did test in the shooting hall, and a scatter grenade does more damage than an Axion bolt grenade. Yeah. It just does more damage. But Axion bolt's going to track more ads, so you've got to ask yourself, do you want more damage in your nade or more tracking? Although scatter grenade tracks as well. But I think Axion bolt tracks a little better, like a little even more. Yeah. So you've got to make that decision. But in my opinion, after what I've seen today, or tested myself, scatter grenade's better. Scatter grenade is the best void nade for me. That's just my opinion on it. Yeah. You try the nades, see what you think. Alright, boss spawns in. Watch the damage. Let's see that yellow bar visual check. Scatter grenade goes in. Nova bomb. Look at the damage ticks. Very nice. At minus 30. Doing nearly, I don't know, 20% health to a boss. At minus 30 is very good. See, a lot of your mind can be warped on what is actually meant to be good damage and what's not meant to be good damage. If you're constantly playing at base power, you will think that everything should be able to be one shot, and that's just not how the game works. And next week, a lot of you will get humbled with the minus 25 and minus 30. Your expectations are warped. And what I'm trying to explain is the portal has messed you all up because you're expecting a weapon or an ability to do a certain amount of damage, and then when it doesn't meet your expectations. That's just because your expectations are warped from the portal. You farmed that much portal, your eyes have gone square, and you're not sure on what's meant to do what. You need to get standard. You need to have an expectation of what things should do. And doing, 20% damage or 10% damage to a boss with a nade is incredible damage. That's so good. For a grenade build, that's crazy. At minus 30. So these are doing crazy damages. Okay, I take down the Cabal shield, so I'm rushing it on purpose to play aggressive on the build. I get a stun on this unstop. He's debuffed. I clean him up with the LMG. Very nice. I got 2 nades. I Nova Bomb this guy because I just can't be bothered stopping him in time, although I do stop him. I don't want to waste too much special right now, see, because my special's doing most of the stunning on unstops, although I could stun with LMG if I wanted. But it's more direct with the mint. So do you see now another reason why you want weapon start on this? Because there's times when we've in a run, you're like, damn, I need an ammo brick. I need an ammo brick. You get more ammo generation if you run 100 weapon start. So people ask me about, oh, what about run ammo generation mods on the chest piece? How's about you just follow the rule of run 100 weapon start every build that you do? If you do that, you can't go wrong. If you run an ammo generation stat on your chest plate, you are not rocking resistances. Therefore, you are more likely to die in endgame content, that being -30 ultimate. Set by Bungie, -30. That's what it will be next week, unless they change the plans. Right? So don't ever run an ammo generation stat ever. Never ever. Only if you're messing around. If you're messing around, then you're allowed to run it. If you're -30 solo content, which that's what I provide to you today, -30 solo content, don't ever run them. If you're in a fire team, you can get away with it. You can get away with it because the aggro is split. When you were in a fire team, 3 of you are splitting the aggro of the adds. When you were solo, you have 100% of the adds on you. You need more resistance when you were solo. Do you understand it now? It's very basic to me, but it's a key fundamental reason why you can't solo very well is because you're not rocking resistances. You fail right at the start. Don't make the mistake of not rocking resistance. Now I'm gonna take down this Cabal shield premature because I want the room to be crazy. I want it to be chaotic. I want unstops to chase me. I want the boss to chase me. I want ads to chase me because I want to test the build. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about what I accomplish. It's about the build. We're testing it in the build. That's how I test it. This is just how I go about doing it. I end up Nova Bombing this unstop, which is probably a mistake. I should have Nova the boss instead. That's a mistake, that. But that's alright. That's fine. We can show a bit more grenade damage, I guess. But look at what we've done there. We've cleared the entire room there, just about. We've survived pretty well. Pretty nice. I haven't come into many problems surviving. See, when you test a build out, it's not just about numbers, it's about how you feel using it. And if you feel good while you're using it, you're like, damn, these ads are going down, I'm surviving, I'm progressing through this activity very well. Well, then that's all the test that you'd ever need. You don't need to go on Microsoft Excel. You need to get in touch with your 7th sense. I've got a 7th sense for this. Get in touch with that 7th sense. Become Daredevil, right? Get that 7th sense and think, hang on a minute, is this gun chunking? Do the chunk test. Never mind damage numbers. Is it feeling good right now, yes or no? If the answer's yes, then that's the answer for you, isn't it? There you go. Really simple, straightforward. And then you can concentrate on other things in life rather than looking at Microsoft Excel. That was a solo at -30 Delta with this Controversial build. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.